What is up, jabronis? JJ back here from Pure Bets. Back with a little NFL. I'll tell you what, I've been absolutely blistered the last few weekends. My Vaseline actually can't keep up with all the blood, but new new weekend, I guess. Nice to have a decent day overall in college basketball. I know that 1 and 2 from the vid yesterday. I did split that over though with the Rumpier crew, but it was nice to have a few good games as well. From college basketball yesterday, easy win, relatively easy loss with Middle Tennessee, just obliterating from three, which is like they're one of the worst teams in the country at it, which makes it even more tilting. And then the close loss, right? A game that's got a live total of up over 156 with 10 minutes left, and that game can't go over 141. So a little tilting day to say the least, but nice to finish strong. So that was nice. And I might be looking at the sweatshirt going like, what, are you not wearing an undershirt? You heathen. This is an amateur hour. You still, of course, have an undershirt on. And I did get the haircut, so I repping the spot. The haircut to me, it's a little too like preppy. Like, I don't know, like I feel like I should be standing outside Abercrombie and Fitch with this haircut. So not the biggest of fans. I'll likely do something a little more wild with the hair. But needless to say, yes, we're here. Just quick shout out to Nadal. I mean, what a match. Jesus. I mean, I had nothing vested in it either way. But woof, what a gritty win. I mean, he had a few gritty wins this tournament. So kudos to him. And shame for Medvedev, who probably has a little bit of emotional maturing to do. With kind of how erratic he can be at times. Like look at Nadal and Djokovic and Federer over their careers, right? I mean, yeah, they show emotion, but very rarely do they get like super negative. I mean, Djokovic, towards the latter part of his career has gotten a little more like that. But Medvedev seems to be a little bit of a loose cannon, Tsitsipas, kind of same thing. So either way, we do have a lot of young talent. Even Sasha Zverev is kind of the same way. So, interestingly enough, we'll see how it continues to play out as the big three kind of slowly fizzles entirely away. Federer's kind of been out. Djokovic will return, I'm sure. Unless the countries he's playing in require vaccination, of course. My man UN. So either way, what's up, S. Pie Eater, Yeezy, Nate Safai, Scott, Josh. Looking forward to today. Ultimately, I'll talk a little bit on the games, talk a little bit on some derivatives. It'll be a short show for you guys, just to give you guys some quick insight. So I will say this: you betting NFL playoffs right now, as in like this exact present time, is never good if you like overs. If you like under derivatives, under props, under player props. You're going to be best off making those bets like now. Not to say you can't still find some value. So I'll give you some spots where I still kind of have a little bit of value. So I mentioned on the Print Factory, Tyler Boyd at 39.5. I know Tyler Boyd has buried me the last few weeks with his lack of usage in this offense. But he's on the field a ton. And his prop was 39.5 a few days ago. And now it's 41.5. It's not crazy. And again, this dude's on the field all the time. Like Uzama's been getting a lot of those middle of the field looks recently. Wouldn't be crazy to think Boyd catches a few or gets let loose on a few. It's just such a small number. So if you're into overs, I don't mind doing that. Look, Chase at 83.5 is a little ridiculous. Of course he can get there. He's got that level of upside. Same thing with T. Higgins. That's a little high. Tyreek Hill 76.5. That feels high. But again, you watch the Bills game, like the Bills Chiefs game, right? So everybody's talking about how it shot out. Let's be honest. The Bills don't convert that fourth and whatever it was, 15. There's a chance the entire game goes under, let alone your live bets or whatever. There's a good chance the entire game goes under with props going under all over the place. That game kind of exploded late with just the onslaught of points, which was kind of crazy, all things considered. But as far as I don't mind Boyd at all. And Yeezy on the DFS end. So I guess it depends, right? So I'll pull up my lineups real quick. So I have 6 total lineups. Nothing crazy. I mean, that's kind of like my thing, though. I don't run a whole lot of lineups, but I typically run, enough to give me somewhat of a few different game scripts. So I'll tell you who I'm highest owned on, and I guess that would be called my core, right? Easy. So definitely overweight, 100% overweight on Akers. At his price, he's just hard to avoid. It has nothing to like. He could completely not do anything today. But again, it's really a price play for him. On DK specifically, I don't. It's very hard to avoid Jamar Chase. I'm not overweight on him by any means. I just find myself when you're doing lineups and you're constructing what you believe to be certain type of scripts, it is hard to keep Chase out of lineups. Obviously, Kelsey will be super high owned at his price. I don't know why DraftKings did this. Like this pricing this weekend's ridiculous. Like you look through these prices, and you're just going to get like a complete massive amount of chalk. Like I wish they made things harder. Like I wish they priced a bunch of wide receivers at 7.5. I wish they priced Kelsey at 7.5. Because otherwise, like how do you avoid Kelsey? I mean, like that's the problem. Is like, you take a stand and say, you know what, Kelsey maybe doesn't have a good game, and I'll take a stand there. But at his price, it's like ridiculous. So kind of PO'd that DraftKings did what they did with this pricing. So yeah, I guess to answer the question, right? Overweight on Mixon. Um, but I think Stafford's like a sneaky good spot at 63. And I think everybody's going to go to Burrow, who's a few hundred more. Um, and don't get me wrong, Mahomes will see a ton of ownership too at 74. That's another thing. Like, why is Mahomes 74 this week? Like, why wouldn't Mahomes be like 82 or 83? It just makes it so hard not to play these guys. There's of course the debate between McKinnon and Edwards-Helaire. I'll be split down the middle on them. Definitely going to be overweight on Kittle. This is the thing. So I like to play DFS where I like to take stands on players at certain prices, and I'm sure a lot of people could relate. But man, DraftKings has made it hard with this pricing. I think Cooper Cup, with the way pricing is so cheap, I think Cooper Cup may be a guy that gets left alone. I think everybody's going to stack the first game. Nobody's going to stack the second game. And I think Cooper Cup on DK, he's very playable. On FanDuel, he's like almost not playable. But I think you can go a few different scripts. But I will say this: when you're building lineups, try to do your best to script out how you think things are going to look, versus just like kind of randomly slotting guys in and out. Create yourself scripts. Like if Mahomes throws for 300 yards, like if you think Mahomes is going to throw for 300 yards, somebody's catching those passes. So make sure you're filling up with like maybe three. I mean, at least two, but maybe three KC pass catchers. Same thing with Burrow. You think he's going to throw for 300? Stack the pass catchers. You can do things to be different, right? Like you could play Stafford without Cup. That'll make you different. You can play Burrow without Chase. That'll make you different. You could play, Mahomes without Kelsey or Hill instead of playing them both. Maybe you play one of the two. But either way, just a little insight there, and we'll go back to the bets. But hope that was good enough for you, easy. For your own lineup construction. Okay, so again, some overs. Like I said, I like Boyd. In terms of rushing, I don't think it's crazy to play Burrow's rushing prop over because he's going to get pushed outside the pocket. We know he takes sacks. There's very few sack props that you can get. My favorite bet, or one of my favorite bets of this weekend, which the VIG is ridiculous now. We talked about this on the Print Factory and we fired away there. I'm just trying to pull it up from FanDuel here. Where is it? Defense. So one of my favorite props from this weekend, which we were fortunate enough to get a plus 100. So Chris Jones to record a sack is minus 142. That's wild. So we had gotten that Thursday evening, I believe, at plus 100. And again, the logic there, of course, is that Burrow almost to a T has taken sacks from opponents' best pass rushers. And we know he takes sacks. He holds on the ball too long. Some of it's his fault. Some of it's the play calling. Regardless, I know Chris Jones doesn't play as many snaps as other, elite defensive ends. He plays about 55 to 60% of snaps. But I just, where are they going to answer to him? Like he's going to be in on Burrow multiple times today. It's just a matter of if he closes it out or not. And I don't expect Cincinnati to change up their game plan by any means in terms of running these plays where the receivers, these plays take forever to develop, and Burrow's going to get nabbed. So, yeah, I like Chris Jones to get the sack, but at minus 140, not so much. But that's what it is now. You want to dabble on that, add it to a parlay or whatever, that's fine. At plus 100 is one of my favorite bets of the weekend. As far as the game goes, look, KC's definitely. KC could roll this team. I wouldn't be crazy to think that KC could roll, and Cincy could backdoor cover. Cincy could stay competitive. The thing is, like, for Cincy to stay competitive, they're going to have to score points. So, maybe you target their team total. I'm just been so gun shy now with team total overs. I mean, I did it all season long with a lot of success, and this playoffs has been the exact opposite. And it's not like I'm betting chalk. I'm betting underdogs over their numbers, which has made it even more tilting. And again, don't get me wrong, a few breaks here and there could have swayed things, but needless to say, hasn't been profitable. And a little gun shy coming into this week or weekend in regards to team totals. So yeah, I think if you do a few different things, look, I know Burrow's pass yards prop is probably gonna get a lot of attention. I'm sure. Um, Not something I played myself. But look, like I said, there's a few different scripts here where Cincinnati could cover. But then again, it's like I've been saying all season, right? The Cincinnati defense is super overrated. And you're talking Casey's offense, which is in form now. So to me, Kansas City can score as many points as they want today. But I don't know how aggressive they're going to look to get if they get a big lead. I don't know if they're just going to look to stomp on this team's throat entirely. You could target Casey's team total over, but that's massive. That's like 32. So I don't love with that. But yeah, so gave you some spots you could target in this game. I guess we'll move on to the second game because I did want this video to be about 15, 20 minutes long. So the second game, Niners-Rams, another game where, so for me, I've been high on the Niners all, call it the last 7 to 8 weeks of the season. And yeah, it's another spot where, I think the Rams are the better team, but, the Niners just finding ways to win games. And they're almost starting to look like a team of fate, kind of like the Bengals, but the Bengals have had a bit of an easier road, right? The Titans off a bye with lack of continuity. They played the Raiders in the opening week of the playoffs. The 49ers have not had things easy. They've won 4 straight road games, which is rare this time of year. And they're looking to make it a fifth. They're no stranger to this environment. This will likely feel like a home game to San Francisco, or at least a neutral field to San Francisco. So I'm not worried about that in terms of crowd noise. It just, to me, they've had a tremendous year, and the Rams look like the best form of themselves. The Rams could roll San Fran, but I've seen San Fran go up 2 touchdowns against this team and not look back. I've seen them go down 2+ touchdowns and come back and win. So what's up, Chris? I think overall, it's hard not to want to like San Francisco in this spot, plus the points. But again, Rams have elite level talent. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. Kind of like anybody, right? I mean, I think if you're going overweight on spreads this weekend of all weekends, I think it's a little foolish. I think find some props, find some derivatives that you like, and move on from there. Like, for instance, I'll tell you, like Jimmy G's passing yards. I don't mind that. Like, if you're somebody who thinks the Rams are going to win this game, how could you not like Jimmy G's passing yards over? Because the way the Niners are going to find the most success is through play action. I mean, Jimmy G eats a lot of shit, but man, his receivers weren't doing him much favors in the Green Bay game. So now it'll be warmer weather, and he can definitely find dudes, hit dudes in stride, middle to intermediate part of the field, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to pile up yards. The problem that I have with this Rams team in the playoffs is, man, do they play slow? I've been saying this for the last few games now. They just consistently run that play clock down to 1, and it's like everything they do is either a short completed pass or a short run. The clock just never stops when they have the football. So it just continues to bleed clock, which would lead to potentially a lot of unders in this game as far as the props go. I think the under for the full game makes sense to a certain extent. I don't love it. Two teams expected to play rather casual early on. I wouldn't expect any big chances. Again, because you can lose a game early, but you can't win it early. So expect these teams to play relatively cash, if you will, early on. As far as some props I like or don't mind, like that are in favor of the over, Tyler Higbee is just a machine these days. Doesn't seem to get much attention or much hype, but it seems like every target he gets is a catch. He's always, like, when they do target him, he seems to be always super open. There's just a lot of weapons on this Rams offense, and he goes kind of unnoticed. And he's really good. I don't know if you guys remember him from his Western Kentucky days with I forgot that quarterback that just blew up numbers. But Higbee was really good in college as a pass catcher. And it's nice to see him kind of turning out well, at the NFL. But he's been super, super reliable for this offense. And that prop at 41.5, to me, it's pretty light. So, if you're still somebody who wants to be in the neighborhood of betting overs, I don't mind that. I don't want to flirt with the rushing props from both these quarterbacks. You're more or less hoping that lightning strikes. Both quarterbacks absolutely do not like to run, but you are literally, like I said, hoping for lightning to strike. It'll only take them one rush, but you might be sweating it all game long. So I'm not in love with any of the quarterback rushing props over or under. Akers has been on the field most of the time. I know the receiving prop for him makes a lot of sense. So you can potentially go there. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Chris? Um, Needless to say, though, in this game, I think this is going to be a game where a lot of unders happen to come through. Cooper Cup's prop is 101.5, but remember, he was relatively kept silent most of that game. He piped up late in a semi egregious fashion. Also, Kyle Juszczyk, like I know his prop is only 8.5, or it is 8.5. And you might be like the guy that never gets used. Tell you what, they consistently have plays drawn up for the juice, as they call him. He should be able to find, and again, he's only going to take him one pass, and typically when they do drop the plays for him, he goes unnoticed, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. He catches a 9 or 10 yard pass. Um, as far as who wins, Jeff, it's a lead in the 49ers, but it's the playoffs and anything can happen. I wouldn't say go overweight there. Again, like I said earlier to the show, find player props, right? Find game flow items that make sense. You could target Robbie Gould. Has been good in terms of the kicking game. Jimmy Garoppolo seems to throw an interception every week. You can go there. Me personally, though, like for me, like Stafford, I'm just trying to look at what the number is. So Stafford to throw a pick is now -120. It's hard not to like that. Like I know he's gone 2 straight games without a pick, but he he's thrown some real questionable balls over the last few games that have not been intercepted and should have been. And let's not forget he had a pretty decent streak of a lot of interceptions towards the tail end of the season. So overall, I think Stafford throws a pick. I mean, Garoppolo likely throws a pick too, but you're gonna pay heavy vig there. So I just think Stafford's been getting really lucky, almost like the bird shit on the windshield kind of thing. So you could target him there or target that there. And then, like I said, as for other player props, like I mean, I've talked through a decent amount of them. I think there's a lot of interesting upside to some of these players in this game, whether it's for DFS or whatnot, because a lot of these guys are going to go. I don't want to say unnoticed, but they're going to go under owned per the slate. Because again, when you build lineups in DFS, you're building more than just your own lineup, right? You're building it against what you anticipate your opponent's lineups being. And this is going to be a game that's definitely going to get underweight. Debo is likely going to be underweight. Cup will likely be somewhat under owned than what you're accustomed to seeing him in these types of spots. If this was if you do the showdown right for this game, the Niners game, like Cooper Cup's going to see a tremendous amount of ownership versus the 2 game slate where everybody's going to prefer to get the guys in on the other side. You look at the guys that are cheaper, right? Tyreek Hill 7K, Kelsey 6.5. Everybody's going to go that way. It's made it difficult for me to build lineups, objectively. But needless to say, I think a lot of these props, in theory, go under, but there is still upside with these players to not only go over their numbers, but absolutely smash their numbers, which will put them in the winning lineup. Elijah Mitchell, 17.5 carries. I know he got stuck at 17. He's down to 15.5. Like to me, that number is pretty wild. Like if you're somebody that doesn't trust Jimmy G, I mean, where do you think their production is going to come from? I know Debo's going to get his touches, but so yeah, I mean, oh no, I'm seeing 18.5 actually. So I don't know where we're seeing 15.5. Oh, longest rush. So 18.5, it was 17.5. There's still some decent value there. Obviously that's 19 carries. So, the game can't get away from the Niners. But I don't mind that. Elijah Mitchell's practically on the field the entire game. The only time he's not is when Debo subs in for him in the backfield. And even there, sometimes he still plays in. They slot him into wide receiver or they have them both in the backfield. But yeah, needless to say, regardless, gamble responsibly today, guys. There's 2 big games. Everybody seems to always, I make the jokes on Twitter that, I lost my shirt and I got fisted. But at the end of the day, gamble within your means and make sure that, you're channeling that the right way and calibrating that the right way. And don't ever put yourself at risk where you're going to, lose sleep at night or whatnot. Stuff's meant to be fun, right? It's supposed to be, a fun hobby for some, fun passion for some side job for some. But regardless, it should never be something that makes you lose sleep at night. So I know a little sad there at the end, right? But ultimately, just some advice for you guys on a day like today. And yeah, look, guys, as always, stay safe, have fun with the games, whatever you're doing, whether it's friends, family, watching at home, jerking off during the games, whatever you're doing. And look, just have a good time, enjoy them, and embrace it, right? We're not going to get football for 2 more weeks after this, unless you even count the Pro Bowl. I don't even know if they still have that anymore because that's a shit show. But yeah, looking forward to this week. Obviously, going back deeper into more college basketball, tennis, and then preparing for a bit of the Super Bowl. But yes, guys, thank you for hanging out. I hope this video was informative to you guys, and yeah, I'll be on multiple times next week in multiple facets, so I'm sure you will see me. Well, needless to say, guys, as always, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and yes,